tried to set it up.
Is your question, what do you do if you want to go to trial, they won't let you?
They won't let me go to trial. They said that I was mentally insane and that I wouldn't stand to go to trial.
Okay, who told you that? Your attorney or the judge? All right, so let's take another call right now. Monique from North Carolina. Monique, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Hi, how are you? I actually, I have a story to tell, and I wanted to just give a little summary about my case, and then I wanted to ask a few questions as far as references and the steps I need to take. 2014, I gave birth to my oldest son, and he got stuck in a birth canal. My doctor who monitored my pregnancy, he actually told me that he wanted me. I went into the hospital around 1 a.m. I believe it was the 17th of June. And when I went in there, he had me walk all the way up until like 7 o'clock the next morning. And basically, he wanted to monitor me, and he assigned me to a room. A few hours later, another doctor came, and he told me, well, a nurse told me to walk, and I tried to walk for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. And it was real painful, and I had walked all night, and I let her know that I was really tired and the pain had got worse. And next thing you know, she came back with a doctor, and he said if I didn't want to walk, then I needed to go home. And then he looked at her, told her to draw the discharge papers, and if she had any problems out of me, call security. So by the time I gave birth, which was like 2 days later, no, a day and a half or 2 days later, he got stuck in the birth canal. And my son has brachial plexus palsy. He has paralyzed nerves in his left arm. And I have bulging discs now, and I have pain in my pelvic, and I lose feeling in my feet. They also hooked him up to a FSC cord, and that's basically when they put the cord in the baby's crown, my son's head, and they keep up with his heart rate, and they put one on my cervix to keep up with contractions. So fast forward to 2017, mind you, after I gave birth to my son in 2014, CPS actually started harassing me December of 2014. About 6 months after I had my son, they started harassing me. The only thing that I could think of is that the doctors would just tell them that I was neglecting my son's medical needs. The first case they opened, they said that I was refusing to take my son to the doctor, and they closed it immediately because I had a letter where the pediatrician actually told me to not to bring my son back. I apologize. I'm trying to hurry up, but she had sent disenrollment papers when CPS came to the house contacted me December or November of 2014, said that I was neglecting my son's medical needs. Basically, when I'm from North Carolina, and where I live, I was told my son's condition is not a local specialist for brachial plexus palsy injuries. So when I met with the Texas brachial plexus palsy clinic, they came to Charlotte, North Carolina. I took my son there, and they said that he needed to have, I don't remember how much percent he was at that time, but they said that he needed to have the surgery immediately. I was instructed to ask the primary pediatrician to order MRIs, and it was something else. But when I asked her, she refused. And I told her that the Texas brachial plexus said that in order for my son to regain any type of use in his arm, he would need to have that surgery as soon as possible due to them getting the not the X-rays, the MRIs, and it was something else that they wanted, and she refused both of them. She asked her for a HIPAA form, and who do I file a complaint on? Next thing you know, I get a letter in the mail, and CPS contacted me saying that I was neglecting my son's medical needs. Basically, his head injury was overlooked completely. A few specialists looked at it, a dermatologist, a cranial specialist, examiner, and a plastic surgeon, and all of them said that the pediatrician needed to have an MR on his head. Two of them said that it resembled a cyst, but since they don't, since they're not physicians in that area, they couldn't diagnose it without an MRI. By 2017, my son was 3, and he wasn't talking like whatsoever. He sometimes when we count, he might say 2 or 3. I never heard my son say mama or cup or anything. ABC, when I say I'm with him, he might say C or D, but other than that, no. Letters and numbers was all I heard my son say by the age of 3. And CPS was contacting me about doctors saying that I'm neglecting his medical needs, when after he finally had his surgery, which was at the age of 1, I was told that he didn't need to be in physical therapy because it takes at least a year for his arm to heal. They contacted me because when I first had my son, I was told if I put him in daycare, I would have to sign a waiver, meaning if anything happened to him, they would not be responsible for it. The apartment that I was living in was over top of somebody. She was sending CPS. She was trying to start trouble with me. And the leasing office was sending notices every day threatening to evict me due to disturbance of the neighbor. So I was trying to get disability, and I was trying to get his head injury diagnosis and evaluations due to the fact that my son wasn't talking. He was also, the tantrums, he'll fall on the floor and beat his head. I would literally have to get in the floor with him, place him on my lap, wrap my arms around him. And then by 2017, when he wasn't talking, disability finally sent me to a speech therapy. A speech evaluation specialist, and she said that he was actually on 8-month-old level. And she asked me, did he have a lot of ear infections, like when he was an infant? And he did. Like the first year, he had like 3 or 4 ear infections. And she said that I'm sorry. She said that was like a
2 minutes.
A symptom
Hey,
of
Monique.
partial death.
Monique,
Yes,
we're moving to the top of the hour break. What was the question that you wanted to ask me?
I wanted to ask, when they are refusing to let me go to trial, and when they are refusing, because I heard somebody say earlier that it seemed like they all in cahoots together, and they do. In the beginning, I told them I wanted them to go to trial, and they tried to say that.
Is your question, what do you do if you want to go to trial, they won't let you?
They won't let me go to trial. They said that I was mentally insane and that I wouldn't stand to go to trial.
Okay, who told you that? Your attorney or the judge?
The public defender told me that because I had filed complaints against the hospital. I filed complaints against SSI, and I filed complaints against DSS for harassing me and accusing me of neglecting medical needs when they was indeed like trying to cover
1 minute.
malpractice.
Okay,
It was like
Monique,
the doctor.
Monique, hold on a second. I want to answer this question before we take this break. You need to talk to another attorney that's experienced in CPS law in your area there in North Carolina, because you may not be getting the best advice. I don't know everything about your case, so I can't comment on it. I have never reviewed the file, but it sounds like this is an issue where you need to get at least a second, maybe even a third opinion. So I want you to call around and try to find someone in your area there in North Carolina that you can at least go have a low cost or a no cost interview.